Today we're going to be solving the week 10 math AMS quiz. It's not that hard this week, you just really need to focus on the forms and whatever. We only have one formula. So which of the following is true about this graph? Now we know this graph looks like the conical form, which is equals a into x minus h plus k. That's your form. It looks like this. So what we know is that a is how much it shrunk or it stretched. And by the way, shrunk in algebra means got bigger and stretched means got smaller or narrower. It's the opposite of what we usually know them in English. H minus h, this is the way you find your vertex of symmetry, but later I'll show you now what I mean. Actually, it's better, you'll more likely understand when I explain it on the actual question itself, so let me start. Okay, it opens upwards. How do we know if it opens upwards or downwards? You look at A, this value here, 3, negative 3. If it is negative, it opens downwards. If it is positive, opens upwards. Upwards. So this here is negative, so we know it opens downwards, not upwards. So that's our first option gone. And this is obviously wrong. If it opens downwards, it can't also open upwards at the same time. The vertex. How do we find our vertex? To find the vertex, it's the easiest thing ever. To find the vertex, you look at this value, or like these brackets over here. Whatever makes this bracket 0 is your x of the vertex. So x minus 1 equals 0, x equals 1. So x must be 1 for it to be the axis of symmetry, which is like, let's say you have a graph, here's 1, you'll have the actual axis of symmetry where your mirror is at 1, as you could see. So, here it's one of the options actually. So x equals 1 is the axis of symmetry. Whatever makes this value 0 is your axis of symmetry. And we know that our, our vertex is the axis of symmetry slash k. So here k is negative 5, which means they got this part of it right, but this has to be 1, not negative 1. So that's why this is wrong. The vertex is the highest point on the graph. Now listen, if it's opening downwards, then this is always going to be correct. If it's opening upwards, it's going to be the lowest point on the graph. So when it's upwards, lowest point on the graph. When it's opening downwards, it's highest point. So just keep this in mind. And the range of values of y is all real numbers such that y is greater than or equal negative 5. Now listen, for the range, you have to pay attention. I'm gonna draw out what this most likely looks like. This isn't accurate by drawing, but I need to draw it for an example. So let's imagine this is our 5 and this is our 1. So this would be, let me draw it in another color. This would be your axis, your vertex. So let's say the thing comes, it's a parabola, so it comes like this and then like this. Let's say your range is from anything that is less than this, since this point is your maximum. Here is the maximum. Nothing goes above this point. So since this is your maximum point, your range is anything between 5 and negative infinity. Or this is 8, sorry. Negative infinity. But in our, usually for us, they don't write it as negative infinity or 5 or to negative infinity. This is that y is anything less than or equal to 5. Because see, if this is your maximum, it has to be less than it. It can't be higher than it. Which, like I said again, is the complete opposite when it's opening upwards. When it's opening upwards, it's anything greater than or equal to 5. So this would be true if it were opening upwards, but it's opening downwards, so this is false. And that's how all the options we got them or we didn't choose them. Now, moving on. Okay, which of the following is true about this graph? Again, same thing, let's see it. So we have our -3 here, so it's opening downwards. Let me draw a graph in case we need it. So it's opening downwards because it's negative. We could choose that immediately and cancel out the upwards. Okay, now let's see what value makes here 0. Again, x minus 1 equals 0, so x equals 1. So our line again, 1 is our axis of symmetry. So we choose it. And also, we know that it's shifting 9 downwards. So our vertex is whatever makes this 0. So our vertex should be 1 and -9. Where here it says -1, -9. So this is wrong again. And the vertex is the highest point on the graph. We said if it is opening downwards, then our vertex is the highest point on the graph. Let's see. It's opening it looks something like this. Since it's this point is our vertex, let's imagine like here's 9. Oh, actually it should be -9. Wait, let me redraw. Sorry guys, wait. Okay, let's imagine we're using a very weird scale, and this is -9. Since that's what makes sense. So 1 and -9. It opens downwards. We said that. Its vertex is this. No. It's the highest point on the graph. Yes. Since it's opening downwards. The range of the values of y is all real numbers such that as y is greater than 9 or equal to 9. We said no. Y has to be anything less than the highest point. So this is your highest point. It should be anything less than it. So that means y should be smaller than or equal to -9. -9. This is what it should look like, not this. So this is obviously wrong. Moving on. Okay. These types of questions are like a game. Let me just Yep. So the rule for the function given is, so what we have to do here is analyze the graph. What did we say about the vertex? The vertex is any value that makes this 0 as your x and this as your y. So let's see. Where's the x? It's at 2. Here. This is your axis of symmetry. Right? Like, see? Since this is your axis of symmetry, this is the value that goes here immediately. When you see it on the point 2, and this is the midpoint between the axis of symmetry, it's this value without even thinking. Now, when we want to find this value, you just look, you go left like this, and you look at the number here, and if here was a positive, you put -2. But since here is negative, they already gave you the negative, just put 2. Okay? Now to find this one, this is always the hardest one to find. So what do you do in this case? You are gonna rewrite your equation as f of x equals, I'm gonna name this one y. You name it whatever you want. M, N, L, whatever you want. And then you replace the points you know. X minus 2 squared minus 2. And now we need to solve for y. How do you do that? You choose any random point of the graph. Like, let's see, which point is touching the graph? We have this point, let's say, which is 1, 0. You bring that point and you replace it in your graph. So x here is 1 and y is 0. This is wait, let me name this something other than y, because it's now going to be confusing. M, okay? So x is 1 and y is 0. We need to find m. So this here, you could rewrite it as y, because it's the same. F of x and y are the same thing. So this is y. We replace it with 0, which is our y here. Okay, what's this? No, I can't press it. No, I have to get everything. Okay, fine. Okay. So where was I? Yeah. So we said we'll write it again as y equals m. And then you have x minus 2 squared minus 2. So now we replace the x and the y with the points we know, which we want to choose this point, which is 1 and 0. So we put 1 in place of the x, and we put 0 in place of the y. And now you solve for m. So 1 minus 2 squared, so this will be negative 1 squared minus 2 multiplied by m gives you 0. So let's see. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times m is m. Minus 2 equals 0. So now m, you move this to the other side, equals 2. And we found m, which is this value over here. See? It's that easy. So again, quick recap. This point, you find it by finding your vertex, and this one also. Your vertex is 2, negative 2, 2, negative 2. Or well, they gave you the negative, so you only put 2. And then for this one, you solve. You put your equation, you replace this value and this value with any point touching the blue line, and then you solve for m, or whatever you want to name it, L, N, but don't name it to x and y because it's gonna be confusing. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, like we said in previous questions, this question is similar. What's the lowest possible value of the function f given above? What did I tell you about the range? So this here, what they're asking us practically is the range. And the lowest. This parabola is opening up. Because here, there you don't have a A and it's not positive. If you don't have an A, it's immediately positive. Of course. So what this would look like is something like, you'd have a point, let's say here at, here let's say is 32. You'd have your point somewhere here opening like this, okay? Or well, on your axis of symmetry, but I don't want to find the axis of symmetry now. So you'd have it like this. So what's the lowest possible value of the function f? Which means what's the lowest range you could get? Like we said before, you look at your lowest point here, which is going to be always 32 if it's opening upwards. If it's opening upwards, this is your lowest value. Don't even think about it. Just put it in immediately. If it's opening downwards, they're going to ask you highest. If they ask you highest and it's opening downwards, again, this is going to be 32. You put it. But you be careful what they're asking for, okay? So it's really easy. And that is it. Just copy any value you see. Now moving on. Okay. This question is like a puzzle. It's like a game. We're gonna solve it. It's not that hard. Okay. So this figure shows us a graph of a quadratic function that has our x-intercept as negative 2, 0 and 4, 0. And the vertex is 1, 9. So they gave us half our equation. And the y-intercept is this. They want you to find b. What you do here, you write your equation with the given values, which is this. Like we said, so y equals a, we don't know a yet. They didn't give us a. They gave us the vertex, which helps us find h and the k. So x minus this value squared, then you put plus this value. Because like I told you before, it has to look like this. This is how you have to write it as. Okay? So you rewrite it in this form, which is called the canonical form, by the way. And now we use the points they gave us. Anyone, choose any one you want, so we can find A. I'm gonna go with 4 and 0. So we replace y with 0 equals A into 4 minus 1 squared plus 9. So 0 equals 3 squared. I'm just gonna rewrite this 3 squared, which is 9A, because you need to multiply it with the A, don't forget, plus 9 equals 0. So what this means is 9A equals negative 9. A equals negative 1. Okay? So now we found our whole equation. We're gonna replace the A here with negative 1, since we found it. This is our equation. Now we need to find the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? This is the y-intercept. It's the point where your slope or your function or your graph touches the y-axis. So what this means is your x has to be 0. So knowing this, we're going to rewrite this, but we're going to replace x with 0. Y equals negative 1. 0 minus 1 squared plus 9. Let's solve. Y equals negative 1 into negative 1 squared plus 9. Negative 1 squared is the same as 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 plus 9 equals y. So negative 1 plus 9 is 8. So 8 is your answer. That is it. So let's recap what we did. We used the vertex. Let me erase the things on it. We used the vertex to get this point and this point. Then we used any one of the 2 points they gave us to find A. Once we found A, we use this equation and we replace the x with the 0. And then you solve for y. And that is it. It's really easy. Now let's move on. Okay. So cumulative frequency. What's this? So cumulative frequency is just the frequency where you keep adding this, or this is your base and you keep adding this on it. Let me show you what I mean. So when you do this, you're gonna add an extra row to your table called CF, cumulative frequency, CF. What you do is you always start with this frequency, 5. Next one is gonna be 18 plus 5. I'm gonna get my calculator because I don't want to go solve it now. 18 plus 5. So here it would be 23. Then you add 7 to 23. So what you're doing is just you're adding like this. And then you're gonna add this to whatever value is here, and this to whatever value is here, and this to whatever value is here. So let's do it. 23 now plus 7 is gonna be 30. 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 plus 9 is 49. And 1 plus 49 is 50. That's it. Now that you found your cumulative frequency, we have to graph them on the graph. So I'm gonna write down all my numbers in front of me on the thing so I don't forget them. Yeah. Let's go down and rewrite them. So they plotted for us the 0 point and the maximum point, which is at 50. So we said when it's at 52 to 54, like between them, you go to 52. We said it was at 5. Then when you added 18 to 5, you found it to be 23, the next one. So 23 would be, since this is 20 and this is 25, the midpoint, this would be 2.5. So this would be 22.5. So you go a little bit above it, like here, and that's your next point. Then when we saw it at 56, we added 7. we got 30, so it's exactly on 30. Then when it was 58, we added 10, so it's exactly on 40. When we were at 60, we added 9, which here is right below the 50, 49. And they gave us the 50 point. So that's all they're asking. They telling you add the frequencies to the one before it and graph it. That's it. Let's move on. Okay. This is another question where we have to analyze our function. So they told us this. So let's see if it opens upwards. Is this positive? Yes, it's positive. So yes, it opens upwards. The vertex, let's see where's the vertex. What makes this 0? Isn't it -4? Because -4 plus 4 is 0. So this should be our x value. So let's write it here. -4 it should be, and -8. This is our vertex. Or well, what it should be. So that's it. So if we have an option that's like this, we choose it. Let's see the options for vertex. -2, 8. No. -4, 8. No, it should be -4, -8. So these are both wrong options. We choose none. The vertex is the lowest point on the graph. When I told you when this is positive, then your vertex is going to be the lowest point of the graph. See, -8 here is, this would be your vertex. Well, actually, it's -4, -8, so this is -4, let's say. This would be your vertex, and it would be opening upwards. So this would be your lowest point on the graph. So this is true. The range of values is all real numbers such that y is greater than -8. Yes. Since this is the lowest point and it's opening upwards, y is everything above -8, because -8 is the lowest point. Since y is everything above -8, this is true. This is your range. X minus 2 is the axis of symmetry. We said the axis of symmetry is this value. And it's definitely not -2, so you choose the ones that you put a tick on, which is 1, 4, and 5. That's your answer. That's it. These questions are like a game, like analyze, look, find the similarities or differences or whatever. Okay. Again, vertex. Whatever makes this 0 is your first value, it's your x. So 3x minus 6 equals 0. 3x equals 6. X equals 2. So x equals 2. That's it. And y is any value that is here, which is -5. You copy it, same. That's it. Next question. Okay. These are the questions you really need to focus about in the exam. There is one formula, or not formula, there is one thing you need to remember. When you see a quadratic formula, be careful. When you see a formula that looks like this, which looks like ax squared plus bx plus c, when you see something that looks like this, to turn it into canonical form. Canonical form, which is this, is the way that I just showed you. A into x minus h squared plus k. This form, you want to transform from this form to this form. How do you do that? It's really simple. You need to memorize this. When you want to form from this to this, you do y would be equal to a, like we know it, into x plus, not x minus, x plus b over 2a squared, but you don't actually square it, by the way. You just solve whatever is inside and keep it. Plus, now this is the tricky part that you actually need to memorize. 4ac minus b squared over 4a. This, you have to memorize it. Let me show you how we use it. Now, let's rewrite this in this form then. So, I'm going to rewrite this on a note because we need to show you it on the calculator, because these types of questions, if you don't solve them on the calculator, I can't guarantee that you won't get it wrong. So let's open a note. I don't know what this happened. Okay, yeah. So we opened the note. I'm gonna solve it like here. Or well, actually let me just split screen this. Not like that. No, wait. This isn't the form I want. Let me just close it. My scratch paper. Now look, we said that to make it into this form, I'm gonna rewrite it. So y equals a into x minus b over 2a squared plus 4ac plus b squared over 4a. So this is the form we need to use it. Now let's see how we use it. So let's replace. By the way, this is your I'm gonna cover this and make it squared. This is your a value, this is your b, this is your c. So let's solve. Y equals, your a is 5, like we said. So this is a, this is b, this is c. This is gonna go now, like when I, yeah, sure. No, wait, not sure. Okay, so y equals 5 into x minus 50. So you're gonna do minus 50 over 2a, which is 2 into 5 squared plus 4ac minus b. So 4, a is 5, c is 11, or well, negative 11. Be careful of the signs, take them with you. Minus b squared minus 50 squared over 4a, where a, is 5. So you could either put all this in your calculator, or what I like doing is only putting this part in the calculator, and this I'll do it. So y equals 5 into x. 50 divided by 10 is yeah, sorry, I accidentally stopped it. Where was I? Okay, yeah. So you do 50 minus 50 over 2 times 5 is 10. So 50 divided by 10 is minus 5. Now this is your first part of the question. This is squared. Keep it squared. Don't actually distribute the square. Plus, now we need to find k. How we do that is you bring this, and I'm gonna pull out the calculator. This isn't the calculator. Okay. Sorry, this is whatever's left of business. So we do this, we put it all in our calculators. So 4 into 5 into negative 11 minus negative 50 squared over 4 into 5 is negative 136. Now you're gonna say, oh, but they only put 136 here. But look, they put the negative here. So all you need to do, because look, this is gonna erase, like with the negative is gonna cancel it out. You put the 136. That's it. Especially for this part, it's actually really confusing when you solve it by yourself. I was gonna get half the quiz wrong when just doing it by myself without the calculator. use a calculator. You're allowed to use it. So that's it for this type of question. You're gonna see more examples if you didn't understand this one. So let's go on to the next question. This was another one I accidentally opened. Again, they want canonical form again. What do I do? Okay, yeah, sure. So, okay, so now this is our formula, we know this. Now let's see what they want. Fill in the blank with the correct numbers. They want this in canonical form. This is a quadratic formula, let's write it. So, you have, this is your A, this is your B, this is your C. 2 is A, 4 is B, 5 is C. So, y equals 2 into x minus 4 over 2a. What's 2a? It's 2, so 2 into 2 squared. I'm gonna try making this smaller because I think it took too much space. Okay. Plus 4 into a, which is 2, c, which is 5, minus b squared. What's b? Minus 4 squared over 4a. 4 times 2. This one was pretty easy to do by myself, but I still recommend do it on your calculators. If you can't, if you're confident you could do it by yourself, be my guest, but always check behind yourself on a calculator. So let's rewrite this into simpler forms. X minus 4 over 4, because this will become 4, so 1 squared plus 4 times 2 times 5. This could all be rewritten as 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 5 is 40, so 40 minus 4 squared, which is 16, over 4 times 2, which is 8. So 40 minus 16 is 24 over 8. So this is, we're gonna again rewrite it as, 24 over 8, which is 3. Which is our correct answer. 2 into x plus 1 squared. Wait. Oh yeah, sorry. I wrote the formula wrong. Yeah. Here it's supposed to be plus. Here it's supposed to be plus. Here it's supposed to be plus. So don't get the formula wrong. This is the correct formula. Don't mess it up. 2x plus 1 squared plus 3. That's it. Now let's go on to the next one. Okay. For now, wait, we could go for a while back to normal screen. But I'm not going to take this away yet because we still use it. So the equation of the axis of symmetry is this, is like we said. They want x from the axis of symmetry, which means whatever makes this bracket 0. So 1 over 3x minus 5 equals 0. So 1 over 3x equals 5. X equals 3 times 5, 15. That's it for this types of question. These types of questions are really free marks, guys. Like, I don't understand why you'd want to get them wrong. Or how would you get them wrong, either way. So anyways, again, canonical form. Like I said, it's really important to know how to do it. -2 is our A, 16 is our B, 40 is our C. Let's start solving. Y equals A, which is -2, into x plus, what's our B? 16 over 2 times -2 squared plus, again, convinced this is taking up too much space. Why did I move you? Oh my gosh. This tablet actually hates me. So sure. plus now into 4. A is negative 2. C is negative 40. Minus B squared, which is 16 squared, over 4 times negative 2. Now, what we do is, again, solve this alone, because the first part is usually really easy to solve alone. Second part, on your calculator, please. So y equals negative 2x plus 16 divided by 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So let me replace this part by negative 4. 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. So you take this plus here and you change it to negative 4. Because if it's a negative, negative is stronger than positive, you change the sign. So squared plus, you're gonna do this again. Where's the calculator? Here it is. You're gonna input all this in the calculator, because don't try doing it by yourself. 4 into negative 2 into negative 40 minus 16 squared over 4 into negative 2. So you're gonna get negative 8. Like we said, negative wins over positive, so change this to 8, or like this to negative, and let's see if we're right. Minus 8. Like we said, everything is right. So I think that's the last canonical form question. So I'm gonna put this away. Now let's finish the rest of the questions. There's 2 more left. Okay. Or 3 more left, I think. I'm not sure. Anyways. So what's the mean number of paintings? What's mean? Mean is equal to average. That's what mean means. So to find the mean, you do sigma f of x over sigma f. So what does this mean? Because some people don't know the signs. What this means is you're gonna add up you're gonna find out all the number of paintings and divide it by the number of paintings you have. So let me solve it and you'll understand. So you're gonna find out how many paintings do you have in total. So you have 3, you multiply 3 by 1, add it to 4 times 2, add it to 5 times 6. So let's do it. 3 into 1 plus 4 into 2 plus 5 into 6 plus 6 into 6 plus, I actually hate the fact you can't move it, 7 into 7 plus 8 into 3. So we're gonna rewrite this aside. Oh, by the way, all of this, oh, I forgot I can't remove the calculator aside. All of this, you do it over the sum of only frequencies. What I mean by that is you add all of these and this, and then you find your answer. So 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3, and you solve this in your calculator. I'm gonna be forced to solve it here, because why not? 3 plus 8 plus 30 plus 36. I'm gonna start there. 3 plus 8 plus 30 plus 36 plus 49 plus 24. I'm gonna draw a line here. Over 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 6 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15, 15 plus 7 is 23. 23 plus 3 is 26. But let me make sure on my calculator because I might have calculated something wrong. 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3. Yep, like I said, I calculated something wrong. It's 25. But anyways, then we're gonna put all of this in our calculators. Again, I would do it on the calculator on screen, but since I'm using this, I can't. 3 plus 8 plus 30 plus 36 plus 49 plus 24. This is all. This is equal to 151. So when you do 151, divide by 25. How is it 151? Guys, something's weird. I think it's 150 supposed to be. 150 divided by 25. Yeah, this is supposed to be 150. I calculated something wrong, I'm sure. So 150 over 25, which equals to 6. And that's it. That's how you solve it. 3 times 1 times 4 times 2 times 5 times 6 times 6 times 6. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong, what I did wrong, but sure. Same thing. 150 over 25, which is gonna give you 6. So again, what we do is we multiply these and add them to the multiplication of these, 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 and divide by the sum of these. That's it. There's gonna be another question, that's why I'm not really set on fully explaining this one. The last question is the same thing. Okay, for median. Median means middle. So you need to find the middle value. Now, I don't know if you remember what we used to do in small grades, which is if you have the number of TV sets 0, you have it 2 times, so you write 2 zeros and then 10 ones. We're not going to do this. We're older and there's going to be a lot of numbers. We don't have time to do this. It will work if you want to do it, but we don't want to do it. What you do now is you're going to write your qualitative frequency again. So I'm just going to write it down here because there's text. So we said we start with the normal frequency, then we keep adding, which is 12, then 17. 17 plus 5 is 22. 22 plus 6 is 28. And then you have 29. That's when you end. So what you do is you take the last value. Yeah, this value, last one. If it's less than 50, here's what you do. 29 plus 1. Then divide by 2. So 30 divided by 2 is 15. What you do with this? You're gonna look where can you find 15 out of these qualitative frequencies, QF. So 15 is bigger than 12, so we don't take it, but 15 is less than 17. So if you can find it in 17, you're gonna circle this graph. You're gonna look at number of TV sets, 2. If this number is the position. So this number isn't your answer. This is the position. Like I said, look at the qualitative frequency, the one that's right, that's equal to 15 or bigger than 15, but the one that's closest, biggest. And then you look up to the number of TV sets, 2, and that's your answer. Okay? That's it. So now last one is again mean. So we do 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6 plus 4 into 6 plus 5 into 7 plus 6 into 3 over 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3, which we said all of this is equal to 25. And now 1 plus 4 plus 18 plus 24 plus 35 plus 18 again Oh, by the way, when they ask you what's the total number of paintings, it means what's this value over here, which means this top thing. So let's do it on our calculators. 1 plus 4 plus 18 plus 24 plus 35 plus 18. When you add them all up, this is gonna equal 100 over 25. So what's the total number? It means 100. You put this in. Mean number, it means this thing. 100 divided by 25, which is 4. That's it. All you do. All of this, by the way, you do it on your calculator. You don't do it like I did it. You put everything in your calculator and the calculator gives you your answers. Just be careful. If they want total number, don't put it immediately over 25. Find this value first, then you divide by 25. But when it's just asking you for mean, put all of it, you put it in your calculator as is. And that's the last question, guys. Hope you understood everything. Have a nice day. Bye.